Nico Williams has betrayed Ghana to represent Spain. Or at least that's what everyone's saying about it. But of course, right everyone, it is Finn here, and today we're going to be talking about the fact that Nico Williams' younger brother, Nico Williams, has been called up to the Spanish national team. Of course, it is a huge topic, it is some more World Cup news, which of course, as the World Cup is right around the corner, I feel kind of obligated to make. Now yes, I know it is another Ghanaian football video, and no, I'm not a Ghanaian football channel. Once again, it is just World Cup news, and the Black Stars have just happened to have so much news about them as of late, that I just had to make. Once again, I've kind of grown a Ghanaian football following, and I kind of like it at the moment, so I'm going to ride the wave for as long as I can. But of course, looking at Nico Williams, he has just been called up to the Spanish national team and people aren't quite sure what to make about it. Of course, looking at his brother, he's just been called up to the Ghanaian national squad. He of course is at camp to represent the team versus Brazil in the upcoming friendlies. Now I do want to kind of put my stance out there where I stand about the situation, as I believe no matter what decision he chooses between Spain and Ghana, that I don't believe that there's an incorrect decision to make. Of course, looking at Nico Williams, he's fully right to choose Spain, as he was born in Spain and he's grown up in Spain as his whole life. I mean, he might feel like he identifies more as a Spanish player as a Ghanaian player, but saying that, looking at Nico Williams, he's also right to choose Ghana. Obviously, having Ghanaian parents, he obviously feels closer to his roots, and at the end of the day, as I said, I don't feel like there's an incorrect decision to be made here. I believe that both players, once again, whether you choose the nation that your parents come from or the nation that you come from, there's no incorrect decision to make. I asked you guys though in my community tab what you guys think about the situation, and you guys strongly believe that Nico Williams should have chosen Ghana over Spain. Looking at the kind of competition he'll get at Ghana versus at Spain in terms of his position, it's definitely an easier call if he did choose Ghana over Spain. Nothing bad versus Ghana, that's not a direct insult to them. It's just the fact that looking at a nation like Spain, as we know, they've got some of the best players in the world, and if he plays as a right winger for Spain, I mean in terms of competition, you've got Sarabia, you've got Asensio, you've got Ferran Torres, and so many other players that can play in that position. It's not going to be easy, especially at only 20 years old. As we know, he's got a lot of hype at the moment, and I've even heard people as of late saying that he could be the next Mo Salah, replacement.
Are you serious?
Which, yes, let's not get too far ahead of ourselves. He definitely looks like a brilliant young player, but let's not forget that Bojan was supposed to be the next Lionel Messi. Obviously, these players are still so young, we can't put too much pressure on them, but also looking at Nico Williams, I kind of like the fact that he didn't join everyone else in joining Ghana. As we know, Ghana have really built up their squad since the African Cup of Nations, getting players like Nico Williams. They could get Hudson-Odoi, they obviously got Tariq Lamptey, and Ghana have really built on their squad. But obviously looking at Nico Williams, as I said, he wanted to aim for that European powerhouse, which once again, you can't really blame him for that. A huge talking point about this topic though is, will he be the next Adama Traore? Will he be a player that Spain kind of call up even though he's not the best in the world, just so that he can't represent the African nation? Once again, that is a huge worry here, but obviously reading further into the article, as Luis Enrique, the Spanish manager, says, I'm not doing this to stop him going with Ghana, the Spain coach on Nico Williams' call-up. Their head coach of the Spanish national team, Luis Enrique, has given more explanation on his decision to invite Ghanaian attacker Nico Williams for upcoming games in the Nations League. The Spain-born attacker, who is of Ghanaian descent, has been handed his Made in Spain senior national team call-up, which once again, obviously being called up by Spain, I mean, I can even say as a South African myself, if I was a professional footballer, it's a kind of a different situation as I have lived in South Africa my whole life, but if I was given the option to represent South Africa versus a team like Spain, yes, of course, I want to represent my nation, I want to do them proud, I want to do my country proud, but saying that, I would at least think about joining a European giant. I mean, who wouldn't want to play with some of the best names in the world? Obviously, since the call-up was made official, many have argued that Spain is looking to give chances to the youngster to stop him from choosing to play for Ghana with his bigger brother Nico Williams. Once again, as I said, that's kind of the topic I've spoken about. Speaking on the matter, Spain coach Luis Enrique says this is not the case. I'm not doing this to stop him playing for Ghana. He's young and a very interesting player, the Spain coach said. Obviously, once again, I think that's pretty much all we're going to get out of an article like this. But looking at a player like Nico Williams, he definitely has something impressive about him. Obviously, only 20 years old so far this season, he's had a brilliant start. 6 games, 2 goals, 1 assist. Obviously, he scored in the same game as his brother, which is the first time 2 brothers have scored in the same game in 17 years in the Liga. He's only started his career now. Once again, we have have no idea what his ability is going to be like in the next few years. And if he chooses to represent Ghana over Spain, I feel like there would be a lot more certainty in terms of him playing more international games in the future. But once again, he obviously has a lot of faith in his ability that he can represent the nation at later years. I mean, you look at players like Sarabia, for example, who play in the same position, who I've been a huge fan of as of late. Once again, he's reached 30 years old. He's not going to get game time in the front three of PSG at the moment, let's be honest. And a player like him could go down in the next few years. Obviously, looking at Asensio, his numbers haven't always been brilliant, although he's quite a bit younger. And I do feel like, at least in terms of their Nico Williams, could get some game time. Once again, Ferran Torres can play in the left wing position. Looking at other players like Ansu Fati, once again, kind of in the left wing position. And I do feel like if he continues this growth, maybe Nico Williams, he's not a guaranteed starter, but maybe he could get game time in the future. Also, we can't forget, this is just a national team call-up. He's not even guaranteed to get game time for Spain in this break. And at the end of the day, you can even play a certain amount of games. I think it's 5 games for a national team, and still swap international allegiances. Once again, I kind of understand where Nico Williams is coming from in terms of choosing Spain over Ghana. It's no disrespect to kind of his roots, but once again, he wants to represent a nation that he was born in. And I do definitely feel like he is a youngster with a lot to learn. I mean, if you look at his numbers and you compare him to other wingers from around the world in the last year of football, definitely in terms of his attacking numbers, he definitely isn't quite up there with your Kylian Mbappe or your Haaland or your other brilliant young attacking players. Once again, looking at kind of his passing ability and his midfield ability, his kind of chance creation, he is not a bad player. I mean, in terms of progressive carries per 90 minutes, he gets on average 7.61 progressive carries. In terms of dribbles completed, he gets 2.61 per 90 minutes, which puts him within the top 91 percentile of world football. And in terms of touches in the attacking penalty box, he gets almost 6 touches per game. Once again, I know he's not a brilliant player. In terms of all of his numbers, in terms of goals and assists, he isn't quite there yet, but statistics like this are really important because they show that he's got the makings to be a really skillful, very technically good player that can create those chances once he learns better attacking skills. He's not a bad player, he's just got a lot to learn at the moment. And we can't forget that in terms of young players, you don't have to be an Mbappe or a Haaland. You don't have to have those numbers to be a good footballer. Once again, I'm excited to kind of follow the kind of path of Nico Williams, kind of see where he goes from here in his career as he still is young. Luis Enrique added, he's playing more often with Atleti now. Obviously, he's progressing wonderfully. I like him enormously. We've had him in the junior squad and have been following him for a long time. I reckon the family will be delighted. Imagine the party if both go to the World Cup, obviously with different nations, and they reach a World Cup. I mean, that would be awesome if both brothers met in a World Cup final. That would be an absolute business. Already, Nico Williams has chosen to represent Ghana, has reported to the camp at the Black Stars today, where preparations begin for the friendly versus Brazil on Friday. Once again, I think that's pretty much all we're going to get out of all the news on the situation. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, that's pretty much it for today's video. Once again, I know not a lot of news on the topic. I kind of just wanted to share my opinion. I hope that Spain don't mess them around too much. But of course, ladies and gentlemen, let me know in the comment section down below. Do you think he should have joined Spain or Ghana? What was the correct decision here? And of course, guys, don't forget, if you're not subscribed to this channel, make sure to subscribe down below. By the time this video comes out, I might have hit 7,000 subscribers, which is absolutely huge for me. Once again, guys, the growth has been absolutely insane as of late. I appreciate it so much, and we could still hit 10,000 before the end of the year. That is mental to think about. Of course, leave a like down below if you want to see more content like this, and this has been your boy Finn, FYNN. Until next time, cheers.